This is the summary for The Great Gatsby, Chapter 9. After Gatsby's death, Nick describes all of the events at the funeral. People exaggerate, say a bunch of rumors about Gatsby that aren't true. Nick wants to have a big funeral for him because he figures he had a lot of friends, but guess what? All the people who said they were friends or acquaintances that used to come to his parties suddenly have disappeared and want to have nothing to do with it. Even Tom and Daisy have moved away and left town, left no forwarding address, and refused to come to the funeral, even though they were involved, especially Daisy. The only people who actually come to the funeral at all are Nick, that owl-eyed guy, Owl Eyes from the library, from the party, a couple of his servants, and then Gatsby's father, Henry Gatz. And we learn a little bit about Gatsby's childhood from his dad. Henry Gatz is very proud of his son. They tell a little bit about his early life when he was a child. He finds out that he had done all these self-improvement things when he was a kid and, worked his way up to become rich, so his dad's very proud of him. Nick is so upset and sick by about the whole situation, he decides he's going to move back to the Midwest because the East Coast is just too much for him. So he breaks up with Jordan. He's done with her. Before he leaves New York, he actually sees Tom on the street in the city in New York. Tom tells him at that point that he was the one who told Wilson that Gatsby owned the car that killed Myrtle. And then he says that Gatsby deserved to die, basically for cheating with his wife and for being a bootlegger and all of these other things, which are things he's done. He was drinking alcohol even when it was illegal. He was cheating on her, but he doesn't have any compassion for Gatsby. He thinks he still should have died. It's, again, probably the idea about somebody who doesn't have the old money, new money controversy. Nick comes to the conclusion that Tom and Daisy are careless and uncaring people. All they do is destroy others. They destroy things. They destroy everything around them, and they know their money is going to keep them safe, and they're never going to have to face any consequences, and that's basically what happens to them. They get away with it. Then they start thinking about the difference between the East Coast and the West Coast, and it's a whole thing, and it doesn't even make sense. It's kind of weird. If you want to get into it, you can read some of that. It's not important to the plot, though. Finally, Nick walks over to Gatsby's empty mansion because he feels bad for him. There's a cuss word on the steps, and he tries to erase it and get rid of it because he feels bad for Gatsby. Then he starts imagining, this is the end of the book, and he starts thinking about what the world was like before people came in and brought all their money and their houses and all their craziness. He imagined that America was once a goal for dreamers and explorers, just like it was for Daisy, just like especially it was for Gatsby, that it was a green land of America, again, that color green symbolizing dreams, just like the green light that was shining from Daisy's dock. And Gatsby, whose wealth and success seemed to be the fulfilling of the American dream, he still failed in that dream because the dream he was trying to get was Daisy, which was something that couldn't be attained anyway. Nick senses that people all over the world that come to America are probably motivated by these similar dreams to accomplish some dream or goal, and they have a desire to move forward into the future, to make their dream happen. Nick even kind of imagines people's struggles to create that future, and then they get to the last line of the novel to talk about that. It's a metaphor. As boats moving in a body of water against a current that inevitably carries them back into the past. It's a famous last line of the novel, basically saying you really can't repeat the past, and people are always with their dreams trying to move forward, but sometimes they never get there as they're constantly being pulled back, just like you do when you are in a body of water and the current will bring you right back to the shore. That's the end.